much was our rent and bills every single month? Are you happier living here or your house?
We basically cut our living expenses by $2,000.
I want to be like really transparent. In this video, we're going to talk about why living in an apartment makes much more sense at this current stage that we're at than living in a home.
Most people think that houses are the way to go and it's the only option, but we're going to tell you about our own experience from living in a home and living in an apartment.
So the story begins when we first started dating, we lived in 2 apartments together. And then our dream was like, oh, we really want our own home. We want our own yard. Like we want our own rules.
Yeah.
And we're so excited to have our own home. We started to think about it like Grant Cardone doesn't have a house. He lives in like a condo, like other successful, Alex Hermosi. And Ralph and I were always like, why? How does that even make sense? Why would someone rather waste their money on rent every single month when they can buy a house? Until we lived it ourselves and realized all the perks there is in our current stage, especially, why we'd rather live in an apartment.
Yeah, we know a lot of really successful people too that they live in like condos instead of a home, and we're always like, wait, they have enough money to buy a nice home. Why don't they not buy a nice home?
And you know what? A lot of those people, they have so much real estate, like multi-unit, short-term rentals, but they live in an apartment or a condo. And I was always so curious, like, how does that even make sense?
So here's the story. We bought the home in January of 2022, and we bought the home for us. We wanted to live in it. So before buying the home, we lived in 2 one-bedroom apartments, and we're like, hey, we want a home. So our home was a 4-bedroom home, so that's what we did. One of the rooms was my office, was her office. We had a bedroom, and one of the rooms we made into a walk-in closet, technically.
We had so much space just for the 2 of us and our dog.
So that's what we did, and we lived there for 6 months.
And how much was our rent and bills every single month, like with everything?
So,
I want to be like really transparent.
Yeah, so we bought the home for $790K, and the interest rate was a 3.8 on this home. Yeah. And essentially, after bills, utilities, and the mortgage, the price ended up coming out to around $5,000.
$5,000.
That was with mortgage, utility bills, and we actually had a pool, so we didn't realize how expensive a pool was gonna be. It came out to sometimes $500 a month. I think our pool timer was messed up, so it was running all day, and we didn't realize it, and it cost us like $800.
It's like a beautiful home, but it wasn't anything luxurious. We lived in a really good neighborhood, but it wasn't our dream neighborhood. And the funny thing is, when we first bought that house, my dad, I can't picture you guys living here more than 3 years. And that kind of says something because he knows how we are. And we lived there for 6 months and we were out of there. It was more curiosity of wanting to do Airbnb so bad. And before our home, we actually were looking at like cabins to buy to do Airbnb in, and we always got outbidded. So we're like, let's just buy our personal house and then an Airbnb after. But we were always like traveling on the weekend, so we're like, we have so many bedrooms. What if we put 1 bedroom on Airbnb, and then like when we're gone, we can just rent that out? And people were like, we want to stay in the whole house. I see you have 4 bedrooms. My family would love to stay. So within a week, we were out of there. It wasn't so much like financial thing. It was much more of like, we wanted to do Airbnb.
Even like before we bought the home, we were looking for properties for Airbnb, but then we ended up buying the home for us to live in. And we thought it was going to be a lot more convenient because having more bedrooms, we had our own space. And before we had the home, we're living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And what sucks is I would be like in meetings and then she couldn't talk. Or vice versa, she'd be on a phone call and then I'm in a meeting and then...
So we like pictured in our head, like, man, once we have our house, it's gonna be a dream. Like, we're gonna have our own office. We like made a gym in the garage. And at first it was really cool, but nothing beats the gym we go to now, which is Equinox. Like, you cannot compare.
That's what we did. We lived at the home, and then we decided to move out. Within a week, we moved out all our stuff. We actually put all our stuff in the garage
because we didn't have a place to like
while we're looking for a place to live. And then we found this apartment. We love it. We're still discovering a lot of new places around here, but we actually really like it here. Really enjoy it.
And like this apartment is beautiful.
We moved into this apartment, and we cut our living expenses from $5,000 to roughly around like $3,000, and then we paid a little extra because we got an apartment with the best view. So.
Yeah, we were like on the top floor with the best view, so we could have paid probably like $2,600 for the same apartment, but we just wanted We wanted the view and the top floors. Pay for what you get.
So we basically cut our living expenses by $2,000 basically, or around there.
And I have a question for you. Are you happier, more content living here or your house?
I like it here.
What's the main thing about living now? We don't have our own office. We don't have a yard.
I think there's pros and cons to each one, like living in a home and like living in an apartment. We're actually gonna touch a few pros and cons about living in an apartment versus living in a home that we've realized from our own experience.
Next reason is convenience. If we wanted to buy a home in this area, they're at least $1 million, $2 million. And what we did is basically rent an apartment, right? And we have a really nice apartment, high rise with the view and everything. And we get to live in the same place as these people that are paying like millions of dollars to have a home. And it's like the law of proximity, right? We're around super successful people. Our favorite gym, Equinox, is 5 minutes away. Our favorite restaurant, Javier's, 10 minutes away. My favorite restaurant, Benihana, is super close. All our favorite restaurants, places to go, activities are all within 10 minutes of us. And when we lived in our house, we would have to drive like at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes to go to Javier's, Equinox, like anything.
We can walk like down the street and go to the mall. We actually walk to the mall occasionally. Yeah.
So it's so nice.
Yeah.
That's like really important to talk. One of our friends asked us yesterday, you guys move a lot. Like, what do you guys base where you live? How do you guys decide where you're gonna move?
Yeah, when I said, I was like, one thing I like to have near us is like an Equinox gym.
And not just a regular gym, it has to be like an Equinox or luxurious gym because like our health is something we really invest a lot of money in. And I just don't want to go back.
It's not the same.
Like the steam room is a part of my daily routine.
Yeah,
I know it sounds like ridiculous and it sounds funny, but like where we live, it has to have like our favorite places. It has to have our gym that we go to.
Another thing we realized from living in a home versus living in an apartment is maintenance. When you live in a home, there's a lot more maintenance, right? We had the pool that we had to maintain. Here we live in an apartment and we don't have to maintain the pool.
And it's like salt water, so it's like better for your skin. The pool is heated, which if we wanted to heat our pool, it would be like thousands a month. The jacuzzi's always ready, super clean.
And with a home, right, there's a lot of maintenance. So you got the lawn that you have to take care of. You have the backyard.
We would pay our neighbor to do it.
We pay our neighbor to do it, but still you have to figure out how is it going to get done, right? Who's going to clean my pool? Who's going to mow my lawn? Or is it going to be you? Or are you going to outsource it? And with the bigger home, right, there's 4 bedrooms.
We have like
you have the 2 bathrooms. You have the garage. So even if you have a cleaner, you still have to figure out how is it going to get done.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot more maintenance to a home, right? If something breaks, we have to find a plumber. We have to do this. But here, you just call maintenance and it gets fixed.
And you know what? It's ironic. Right before we started filming this video, since now that house that we have, we actually Airbnb it. We actually just got a message from our guest saying that the water is leaking in the bathroom or something. So now we have to find someone to fix it. I'm like, man, like now we have to find a plumber or something.
But that's something you got to consider, right? Another thing we like about apartments and that we learned is how flexible it is, right? If you buy a home, it's a lot, you're not stuck, but it's a lot harder to sell the home and then move, right? The whole process. But now here, once our lease ends, we could either stay or we could go find another apartment. So it's a lot more flexible in that sense.
And for us, if you know us personally, we are very adventurous. And in the past year, we've moved like 6 times. So for us, we really like to move. And it sounds funny, but we just like new things. We like to try new places. I would hate to just buy a house, stay in one place, and never know what it's like to live in different cities. Like we can be like, we've tried the Valley, we've tried OC, we've tried Berkeley, we've tried like Pasadena area, we've tried like the La Mirada area.
Once our lease ends here, we could be like, hey, let's go move to this city to get the vibes there.
Yeah, but let's get an ocean view this time, get a city view this time. So especially for us, like we're still both young, we don't have any kids, so we definitely like trying out different places to live, seeing what works best for us. Because obviously when we have like kids one day, we're not gonna be like moving left and right. So we'll probably stay here a little bit, do that
we
one.
like this area so far.
Do that one location. Even though I still think we'll stay here. The one secret location we're gonna move to. And then we'll decide between the two. And then I think we'll probably settle down there. And then once we're ready to have kids, I think this lifestyle works really well for us because, like I mentioned, like we're just building. We work from home, so we can move wherever, and we don't have kids. We're young. And it's pretty cool to just meet different people and stuff. The last thing we really love is community. I think this is a really big one for both of us. And we've met so many amazing people in the OC area. Even the people in our building, a lot of them are like YouTubers, like advisors. Like one of our other friends, he has like a luxury dealership, right?
And you don't really get that. You probably like, talk to your neighbors, right? But here we see so many new people. We run into people in the elevator. You can just talk here and there.
Even at Equinox, we've met like pretty famous people there. We see all the luxurious cars, networking. When I used to do Legree, like I used to be with like all the OC rich moms. I hear them talking about like their school and all this. So like community is really big for us, and we definitely get that here. And I feel like we've just like leveled up, right? Like we've learned. I'm like, oh, like I like dressing a little more classy. You know, I've been leveling up my style.
Those are a few of the reasons why we really like living in an apartment versus living in a home.
I think until we have kids, we want to still live in an apartment and just reinvest that money into real estate, different properties, and not necessarily our home.
That's our strategy moving forward. Gonna keep living in an apartment, maybe even a condo, but still investing in real estate, still buying homes and properties, but more as an investment. And this works for us right now because we don't really have any kids. We just have our dog, right? But if we had kids, it might be a little different. This is how it works out for us right now. And in the future, we'll see how our living situation changes.
So I think in the next couple of years, what's going to happen is we try that one secret location. We decide between that location and here. We settle down, and then we'll probably buy a personal house just because when we do have kids, I wouldn't want to live in an apartment.
It's probably fine like year 1 or year 2, but once
like they're older, we want a backyard. I want a backyard for like our kids and stuff. And Ace, of course. But for now, we definitely love the apartment life, like having a view. Everything's so luxurious here, so nice. Like we absolutely love it. And we definitely take advantage of all the amenities, the people that we meet here, and it feels like we're like in a hotel every single day. And we do not get that feeling from our home. When people think apartment, they probably think of just like a regular apartment, but I think we should make it known that it's like a luxurious apartment.
Yeah,
that's why we like it.
I didn't say it in the beginning, but we do live at a luxury apartment, so that
makes it night and day.
Yeah, it is a little different. But yeah, if you guys want to see an apartment tour, then
don't forget to comment, share, turn on your notification button, and comment down below any videos you'd like to see, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.